Today is my 5 favourite comic book heroes, good guys, saviours, the good ones. Let's go. Welcome everybody to John Ski Writes. Today on the channel, I'm your host as always, and we are talking about my 5 favourite comic book heroes, we're going to say. Now I know they sort of go back and forth in the comic books. You've got like I talked about before, you've got Avengers versus Marvel, so it kind of depends on the story, who's the bad guy, your interpretation of it. We're going to go with who I deem 5 heroes, and to be fair, they're not really controversial today. They are pretty much straightforward. They're all pretty much good guys all the way through. So we're going to start with 5, and number 5 for my countdown list is, it's hard to choose again. Number 5, we're going to go with Rogue. So if you're not familiar with the comics or the cartoons, etc., obviously you're probably familiar with the films at least. And Rogue, for me, in the films, not saying she's not a bad actress, but she wasn't portrayed as well as she is in the comic books or even in the cartoons. I loved Rogue. Her abilities were fantastic, and I loved her sort of thing with Gambit. And in my head, if I look at the comic book character of Rogue, stunning, so hot. So number 5, Rogue, badass, best female character in the X-Men, one of the best female characters in Marvel generally. So absolutely love her, basing it purely on the comic books and a little bit on the cartoons. We're going with number 5 is Rogue. Swiftly moving on to number 4. Number 4 is, hard again, The Thing. So, it's clobbering time! I love the whole Fantastic Four. It's something I've not read a lot of comic book wise. I'd love to read more Fantastic Four comic books because they are great. I've only read a couple. But I love Fantastic Four. No, all 4 of them are brilliant. And I could have had the Human Torch on this list. It was very close to being on this list as well, actually. But he doesn't beat The Thing. The Thing's the best Fantastic Four. And I don't have room for more than one Fantastic Four character on this list because of the characters that are coming up, and I love them so much. So number 4 is The Thing. He's absolutely brilliant. Like, the whole concept of him is superb as well, that he's just basically a big, I want to say muscular, but he's not muscular, is he? He's this big tank of a fucking wrecking ball, basically, and he goes and destroys things, or clobbers them, shall we say. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And he's one who, in the films, I know the films are 50-50, some people love them, some people hate them, but in the more recent one and the one before, he is a character who, again, even in the films, I think is brilliant. But again, based on the comic books and based on the cartoons as well, I absolutely love him. And number 4 is The Thing. And number 3, my top 3, like the top 5 was hard. The top 3, it's difficult to split the 3 of them because I do love them all. But number 3 will go Wolverine. So some of you may see where the top 2, or at least who's going to be in the top 2 based on what I put on the last video last Friday. But number 3 is Wolverine. And what can you say about him? Like, in terms of TV, Hugh Jackman, again, you can't recast that. Like, he is Logan. He is who my son is named after. He is fantastic. He is Wolverine through and through. And the way he's evolved from the start of the films to the Logan film. But again, it goes back to originally from the comics and then from the cartoons and obviously now the films. So that's where it all starts for me personally. And Wolverine is a fantastic character. Obviously, I remember him in the yellow outfit with the mask. And I think he had like blue gloves, wristband things around his wrists. And he'd jump around and chop people up and stuff. So that was where it came from for me. Love Wolverine. That's for me, when I think of Wolverine, even though you think of Hugh Jackman in the films, me seeing him jump around in the yellow outfit, that is what I think of when I think of Wolverine. That is synonymous with him. For me, that's how he is synonymous, in the yellow outfit. So number 3 is Wolverine, and number 2, as you probably guessed, or at least you guessed he'd be above Wolverine because of what I said last week, number 2 is Gambit. Gambit's the best X-Men. Gambit's my favourite Marvel character of all time. He is fantastic. Let's fire some playing cards and they're going to blow up. Let's have a staff and just beat the crap out of people. Like, he was fantastic. If you're a Gambit fan or an X-Men fan, comment below. Let me know who you think is your favourite X-Men, favourite Avenger, favourite Marvel character of all time. Gambit is definitely the best, in my opinion. And my opinion is my opinion, so it can't be wrong. So I'd love them to be a decent Gambit film or TV series one day. I doubt it will be. Probably not as big a moneymaker as some of the other names, but fantastic. Absolutely love him. My number one, purely because of the love I have for this character, is number one is Batman. There's not many more iconic characters than Batman. You could argue Superman. You could argue Iron Man, Thor, Hulk. Comic books. I've read comic books, anime. I've seen the films. I've seen everything with him. Obviously, he's on more than obviously say Gambit or The Thing. He is one of the most covered characters in history, films, merchandise. He is everywhere because he's one of the best, and he is my favourite. Some honourable mentions. Pretty much all of the cast of the Avengers could have been in this. But I've not read enough of them as comic book characters. I've seen enough of them in the past until the films. So I feel it's kind of hard. I'm trying to base this on comics. I know they are all comic book characters. For me, they weren't in my life until I've seen some of the recent films over the last like 15, 20 years. So I'm trying to base this on that. So based on that, that is my top 5. Don't really need to say much more about Batman. He's freaking awesome. I love the old TV show of Adam West. I love the comics. There's also a thing that my friend Jones used to watch where Batman and Superman were sitting in a cafe. I can't remember what that's called. That was great as well. Just everything Batman related. It's all come from, obviously, this, but that everything Batman related is just absolutely brilliant. I love the films, especially the Dark Knight trilogy, all of it. So, and it all stemmed from, obviously, seeing him when I was younger in the TV show and then the comic book. So I saw the TV show first, and then I had to read a couple of Batman comics and that, just purely because you do. So, yeah, that's my top 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Batman is the best, in my opinion. He's my favourite anyway. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's my favourite. So next week will be villains, obviously, heroes and villains. So that's something to look forward to. Give me your thoughts, give me your opinions. Please comment, leave a like on the video. Let me know who's your favourite. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all next week. Have a good weekend again. And take care till the next one.